Disclaimer. This video's information is being provided for informational, educational, and general interest purposes only. The information in this video is not intended to shock, enrage, or otherwise provoke the viewer. The sole purpose of this video was to raise awareness of true crime-related events. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
We start today with breaking news from Pembroke. Convicted triple murderer Basil Borutski will spend the rest of his life behind bars. He's been sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 70 years for the deaths of 3 Ottawa Valley women back in September 2015. CTV's Catherine Latham is at the courthouse in Pembroke. Kathy, we now know Basil Borutski will die in prison.
That's right, Michael. In fact, if you look at these numbers, adding 70 years before he'd be allowed to apply even for parole would make him 128 years old. So the judge today, Justice Moranger, sending an extremely strong message that this sort of behavior, this violence, this hatred towards women will not be tolerated, sending a message to really the courts across Canada today for those family members who have been waiting years for this trial and for this sentence and verdict to happen. Today, some relief from them. We heard from Natalie Warmadam, one of the victim's best friends, just moments ago.
Relieved that he will not be able to do this to anyone else. Relieved for the children that they may be able to get some peace knowing that there is no way that he'll be able to hurt them the way he did their mother.
Justice Moranger calling Borutski violent, vindictive, calculated, an abuser of women, and he took all of that into account for his sentencing today. You know, he says sometimes there's some chance of hope for rehabilitation, but he doesn't see any of that right now. So, to repeat, Basil Borutski sentenced to life in prison with no eligibility of parole for 70 years. That would take him to 128 years old, so he will die behind bars. Michael?
CTV's Catherine Latham reporting live from Pembroke. Catherine will have more online and at 5 and 6 tonight. Thank you, Catherine.
911, what's your emergency?
Basil Borutski, 60, was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of second-degree murder at the conclusion of his graphic triple murder trial. The jury, which consisted of 6 men and 5 women, accepted the Crown's argument that Borutski had been planning to kill when he went on the September 22, 2015, rampage through Renfrew County, killing Carol Colaton, Anastasia Cusick, and Natalie Warmadam. Here's how the saga unfolded. After meeting Marion Mask, Basil Borutski gets married. They reside in Round Lake Center, Ontario, and he works for Atomic Energy as a millwright until he sustains a back injury in an automobile accident that renders him disabled. During their turbulent 26-year marriage, during which Borutski was cleared of domestic criminal charges in 1985 and 1994, they raised 3 daughters. Borutski's 2008 domestic assault charges are eventually dropped in court on a peace bond when the marriage ends. During the 2011 divorce proceedings, Mask testified before a judge that Borutski destroyed her spirit by relentless threats and abuse. A judge was informed by one daughter that the aggression involved slapping, hair-pulling, in an attempt to push Mask out of a moving car. Although no charges were filed, a second daughter claimed that Borutski had threatened to burn down the family home on multiple occasions. Eventually, the house burned down. In support of his allegation that he was the innocent victim of a spiteful wife, Borutski produced a contract that Mask said she was forced to sign, granting Borutski complete custody of the kids and financial control over Mask. She signed a letter that said, "I have made false statements about him," which the judge later threw out. Without realizing it, I have ruined the lives of the kids. Mask testified in court that she thought Borutski was following her while they were apart. the Ontario Provincial Police called Mask the day of the killings on September 22, 2015, and instructed him to go to a safe location. Following a New Year's Eve roadside stop, Borutski is charged. Years later, in his police confession the morning after the murders, he cited the incident as just one more instance of the police's unfair treatment of him. He also accused the police of rigging the breathalyzer. He felt that the OPP had been harassing him for a long time and that the police had targeted him because of a criminal record that shouldn't have existed. Borutski moves into the farmhouse on Foymount Road with Warmadam, who has divorced herself, and her 2 kids after meeting her while working as a hospice nurse for his father. At first, Warmadam supports Borutski during his divorce proceedings because he believes in him. In the end, the courts rule in favor of his ex-wife and mandate that Borutski give Mask a $92,000 settlement. Borutski's relationship with Warmadam comes to an end when he is arrested and accused of threatening to kill a family pet, causing damage to property while residing at the farmhouse, and strangling Warmadam's son Adrian. Borutski spends less than 30 days in jail before being released on a 2-year probationary order and a 10-year weapons ban. Borutski, who lives alone in a farmhouse next to a scrapyard, discovers a shotgun hidden beneath the floorboards of an old motor home and gathers some partially rusted car and truck shells. He stores the firearm and recovered ammunition in a trash bag hidden in a bush by the side of the road. At the Wilno Tavern, Borutski runs into recently widowed Carol Coulaton, with whom he strikes up a casual relationship that summer. Although Coulaton resides in North Gower, he keeps up a summer cottage on Lake Kaminuskeg, just outside of Combermere. By winter, Borutski is spending time at the Wilno residence of real estate agent and Wilno Tavern server Anastasia Cusick. Despite Cusick's testimony in court that they were together, he later claims during a police interrogation that they never had a romantic relationship. He claims to have treated her like a daughter. In the same interview, he asserts that all 3 of the women were acquainted. They all have a connection. After beating and strangling Cusick in a fit of wrath and setting fire to her childhood belongings, including an antique rocking horse, Borutski is taken into custody and charged. Later on, Cusick would confess to the investigating officer, saying, "I really believed he was going to kill me. The switch flicked off in his eyes, as I could see." Afterwards, he was found guilty of assault, mischief under $5,000, and overcoming resistance by attempting to choke, suffocate, or strangle. Borutski is freed from prison after 575 days, but he is once more subject to a 2-year probationary period and a 10-year weapons ban that has been extended to a lifetime ban. He neglects to appear at even one court-mandated counseling session for domestic violence and partner abuse, and he refuses to sign a court order prohibiting him from communicating with his victim, Cusick. Borutski moves into the social housing complex owned by Renfrew County located in Palmer Rapids at 5967 Palmer Road. At the Wilno Tavern, Borutski runs into Coulaton and makes an effort to rekindle their romance by offering to help out around her cottage. Friends of Coulaton alert her to red flags. He starts working on the cottage without permission, building a deck, and making unannounced car or boat appearances. He once steals the address from a Christmas card and drives 2 hours to Coulaton's North Gower house, where he unexpectedly and uninvitedly greets her in her driveway. Carol gets a warning from a friend: "You have a stalker." During a late-night get-together at the cottage over Labor Day weekend, Borutski tears up a flower bed out of rage after Coulaton sits on another man's knee. Later, when Borutski pays the man a visit, he talks extensively about Warmadam and Cusick as well as his feelings for Coulaton. In a late-night phone call, Coulaton ends the relationship, which starts an hour-long text message outburst. Borutski starts, "You have ended our friendship," disregarding Coulaton's cries to please stop as the furious texts and phone calls go on for a few days. Her friends, who are becoming more and more alarmed, urge her to call the police after she shows them the message exchange. At his last meeting with probation officer Caroline Royer, Borutski complains about his problems with money, housing, and transportation. Royer recalled the meeting as being just like any other appointment. Despite being prohibited from driving, the court was informed that he frequently, up to 10 times a week, borrowed a car from a neighbor. Borutski was recently referred to a mental health crisis management worker, even though he had not attended a single session of partner abuse counseling despite a 2013 court order. He later recalled, "It felt like my head was going to explode." Borutski delivers a handwritten letter titled "Judge Not Lest Ye Be Judged" to Royer's Pembroke office on the Friday after the killings. "I will now judge you," the letter says. "As many people who have mistreated me as I can will be leaving with me." After celebrating her retirement that past weekend, Kulaton texts Borutski early on Sunday saying, "My friend and I are back together. Don't bother me, please." Borutski calls her a cruel, vindictive, self-centered human being and ends his texts with "Karma will take over," saying he is devastated by her actions. At her cottage, Borutski confronts Kulaton in a furious manner. She informs him that she and her new partner refer to Borutski as the BF, or the best friend who will do anything. They made a big joke about it, and Kulaton laughed. He had left about 20 handwritten notes on discarded wood pieces scattered throughout the property. Most of them were well wishes for a happy retirement written in black marker. Kulaton had taken pictures to record each one, as the police subsequently found out on her digital camera that was recovered from the scene. Borutski eventually places a handwritten letter addressed to Kulaton at his North Gower residence in the mail. That evening, Borutski returns to Palmer Rapids in an agitated state and tells his neighbors that he has just seen his girlfriend having sex with another man. He and his neighbor have a few drinks together and talk about Bible verses, specifically the difference between killing and murder. "This is the Bible I believe in, and I am going to show it to the judge," he says to his neighbor. After getting the shotgun back, he hides it in a bush outside the apartment building before dozing off on the couch while holding the Bible. At 7 in the morning, Borutski exits his apartment at 5967 Palmer Road, takes the shotgun, and takes off in his neighbor's borrowed vehicle. After driving 20 kilometers to 670 Kaminaskeg Road, he approaches Kulaton at her cottage. She ducks back inside as Borutski rams his elbow through the glass door pane and barges in. She begs, "This is not you, Basil, this is not you," as he uses a television cable to strangle her to death as she lies in bed. He takes a cigarette, puts his butt in the sink, takes everything out of her purse, including her car keys and phone, and leaves in her Mazda 3. Borutski travels 33 kilometers to Wilno, where he finds Cusick's house and confronts her while she is screaming. Eva, Cusick's sister, runs downstairs and screams at the man standing in the doorway as he pulls a shotgun out of his car. As Cusick cowers behind a kitchen countertop, he shoots her in the neck. Eva signals a passing road crew and flees for assistance. At 8:52 a.m., she calls 911 and speaks frantically, telling the dispatcher she heard a gunshot. Borutski travels 32 kilometers on meandering back roads until he reaches the farmhouse on Foymount Road, where he used to reside with Warmadam and her 2 kids. With his shotgun leveled chest high, Borutski enters the house undetected, follows Warmadam as she runs through the house, and shoots her in the neck. He is blind to the fact that Adrian Warmadam bolts from the couch, hides in a bush, and calls 911. He later admits to police that, while he killed his first 2 victims, he thought God was making it easy for me. They arrived directly outside. He remembered exiting his body like a zombie, entering Warmadam's farmhouse, murdering her with a shotgun, then pacing back to the car and leaving with the question, "God, where do I go next?" When Kulaton's phone rings, Borutski throws it out the window as he travels east on Foymount Road. It is later found 9 kilometers from the farmhouse in a ditch. As Borutski travels through tiny, rural towns, he later recalled, "I remember thinking, what am I doing in Dakar?" He wonders out loud, "God, I don't know why you wanted me to do that, but there must be a reason," as he pulls into a rest area along the road. A portion of the confession video that was withheld from the jury revealed Borutski's hazy scheme to murder a second man in White Lake. If a policeman had tried to stop him, he said he would have shot and killed them. He travels 80 kilometers to White Lake with his shotgun loaded, 1 live round in the chamber and 2 more in the magazine. I was going to find the fat man, he says. Mid-morning finds Borutski at a lumber company on Benstown Road. Despite having met the man years prior, he was unaware of his target's name and claimed to have learned his address through the grapevine. Is the big guy around? He asks 2 sawmill employees as he pulls into the driveway. While Borutski drives off in the direction of the east, his target watches him drive around the property in search of the man. By midday, Ottawa police had joined the OPP manhunt because they both think Borutski is approaching the city limits and there are real concerns about other possible victims. The Pembroke Courthouse and an Ottawa law firm are among the numerous structures that have been secured. At 3735 Beck's Road in Kinbin, close to a family hunt camp, Borutski pulls into a hydro right-of-way, parks Coulaton's car, and starts writing in a notebook. I detest money, starts one entry. Arthur Borutski has been contacted by police, and the suspect's brother has been taken to a mobile command center located at the intersection of Beck's Road and Kinbin Side Road. Bunker continues a text conversation with Borutski, who texts his brother back, saying, "Yes, I did it," with a police negotiator by his side. The guilty are in the pay. Justice at last. I'm worn out. Borutski texts his neighbor to let her know that the borrowed car is at Coulaton's cottage and that the console contains $100. Sorry, Sarah, your mom took your dad on you, he texts his daughter as he bids her farewell. Amanda as well. I'm by myself. I never get any credibility from anyone. A tactical unit was surveying sniper positions at 2 p.m., worried that they might be walking into an ambush. They learned of a group of students on a field trip approximately 800 meters from the location of Borutski's eventual downfall, and they escorted the kids to the safety of the school, which was now manned by heavily armed police officers. An OPP helicopter and an Ottawa police Cessna were circling overhead. Borutski enters an adjacent field unarmed while his brother texts the police to say, "Hands up." Not a gun. The tactical unit adopts a L ambush formation, with one team moving in to confront the suspect directly, accompanied by a K-9 unit and officers for cover, and another team emerging from the bush on Borutski's flank. As you're getting arrested, do you want to know where the gun is? He asks. As the police follow his instructions, they discover a sandwich bag full of shells next to a rusted old shotgun lying in the long grass, along with a note stuck to a branch that reads, "I have no gun. Please don't kill me. I give up."
Here you go. Say it long enough.
Oh, sorry. Hit the men's room. It's warm in here, eh? You were confusing my 20 or whatever year history of bad from the cops, bad publicity, bad interactions from the police, or lack of action on the police parts on my behalf, with what happened. And you're wrong when you're thinking that I've done this to get to promote change or something. I was trying to tell you that I don't even understand. I was reading the Bible and talking to a lady. The last thing I remember was she went home. I read a little more of the Bible, and I remember talking to her about many different things. And she said that she liked the way I explained it, and that I should actually teach or something. And she's a nice older lady. When was that, Basil?
The night before. And I was talking to her about the part where the 10 Commandments, and she said it's thou shalt not kill, and I said no. If you look in the newer Bible, it'll say thou shalt not kill. In the old original Bibles, it's thou shalt not murder. And I explained to her.
Yeah, I made that same mistake.
I keep talking. I don't like to interrupt because I lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
I explained to her that if it said thou shalt not kill, it would mean not be able to kill an animal for food or whatever. For various reasons, people kill for sport, kill for food, you kill for whatever. And I said that's why it's murder. And I said when you kill a murder, it's killing something. Murdering is killing something innocent. And which I abhor, how do you ever say the word? I hate child molesters. I hate what happened to my ex-wife. I know that destroyed her, that she never had a life. I know that played a big part in what he done to her has played out on me as the bad guy. And then so it just keeps rolling. I understand that. I've read every psychology book I could to try to help her. But after 27 years of abuse from her, or her seeing me as abusive because I'm trying to help her, and her family wanting to hide their family secret, because that's what they call it. Your mother and father are finally dead. Your father would have liked to have had that come out. The mother did not. And there is a Bruce Sawbridge, police officer from Killaloe. You know where he lives.
I think you told me his name. Yeah.
I never told you his name today or ever.
Bruce?
Bruce Sawbridge. I did not ever say that today.
Well, there's
I
somebody
meant
from
a
Killaloe.
different Bruce, but
Oh, he was Miller from Killaloe.
I don't know Miller's first name. Anyway, Sawbridge told me that my ex-wife's two sisters went in and complained that they had been molested or whatever by their brother, but my ex-wife never did because she probably can't deal with it. At one point she thought that I was, by wanting her to go get help or admit it, that I was humiliating her. And far from it, I would have stood behind her, even if to this day, if she ever, it's too late now, but if she ever admitted the truth, and I would stand behind her all the way. Because she's a drug addict, alcoholic,
like she's everything there is. And all she has to do is tell the truth. And I'm sure she'd get over all of it. She's making her own self sick. My kids think I hate her. I never hated her ever. Never, not even now. After all the things she's done to me, I don't hate her. Never did. Even the police, everybody thinks that I never beat her, I never hit her, I never put her down, even one judge thought that, how did he say I was just trying to tell the truth. I wasn't trying to humiliate her or, God almighty, what a stupid.
Who's this woman you're having the spiritual discussion with?
Elizabeth Rakowski, she just moved into the building. She's an older lady, her husband, well, not that old, 60, I don't know. Her husband died 10 years ago or something.
Is this your building or where is this happening?
The building where I live.
Sorry, the building?
Where I live, Palmer Rapids.
Okay.
Lived,
Palmer Rapids, is Crooked Park Slide, is that Palmer Rapids? Combermere, yeah. I used to live out that way.
15 minutes away.
Okay. So this is happening in Palmer Rapids.
So we were talking, and I guess whatever our end conversation was, when I fell asleep, I must have dreamt about it. Or I hadn't slept. I kept telling everybody in that building that I am tired. I haven't slept in days. Everything is going haywire. And I was talking to the crisis people. I'm trying to get help, and I need somebody to talk to, and nothing. I got no one. I even talked to my probation officer, was one of the best ones for trying to help me, but that was not even her job. And I ended up with basically nothing anyway. And I kept telling me I'm going to explode. I can't handle it anymore. Everything is too much. I never dreamt that this would happen.
Anything can happen under stress, Basil. Anything.
So we were talking about the Bible, and I remember we talked about all kinds of things in there, about what was a fruit, and it's not an apple. Everybody believes it's an apple in the Bible. And we talked about when Noah's Ark, how many animals went on, and she said 2, and I said that's wrong. Look in the Bible, there's 2 of every dirty animal and 7 of every clean. When I have a Bible, I'm quite willing to just look and show you and prove to you. And we talk about why do people. Everybody thinks there was 2. Why isn't it real? Why do we believe what the priest or the padre or people? How come nobody reads the Bible for himself and knows as a fact? And it's just like in life, everybody believes what you hear. Nobody wants to make sure that it's true. It's what happened to me. The system, the police, they believe the lies. It all piled up on me as being the bad guy. Then the next person comes along, and all they have to do is just mention Basil Borutski and the police are on me. Because there's a big pile of bullshit lies.
Oh, I don't think you're a bad guy, Basil.
It doesn't matter what you think. I'm talking about the past and how we got to here. You're here. I'm talking about back there, and back there, the other police, people that were involved, how one jumps on the other's back, and it comes to the point where there is no justice for Basil, regardless of what happens, what he says. It'll just get worse and worse, and I guess you give up, and the stress level comes. And anyway, all I remember was going to sleep, or I don't even remember going to sleep, and then I woke up, and I don't even know if I drank coffee. I just went out of the house, and I remember at one point thinking about a zombie, and I remember I was confused, and I remember saying the Our Father, Hail Mary, over and over and over, and I was driving, and I said, I was talking to myself out loud, or I think I was, maybe I wasn't. But I kept saying, God, keep me safe, show me what to do, or stuff, and I don't know what, the gun, I had the gun 2 years ago when Carl Culleton and I first got together, and I was living on a farm. I found the gun in the scrapyard in an old motorhome. It was hidden under the floorboards. And I was pulling, I forget how I found it. I was pulling, looking for something, and I found the shotgun. And then I collected shells out of every car well, not every car, but I get 2 out of this car, 3 out of it's a country atmosphere, and I was living near a scrapyard next door. I collected the shells. If you look at them, half of them are rusted, and I don't even know if they. And that was because at that time Carl would visit me there at the farm, and the police would drive by and they'd shine lights, stop in front of the house, shine lights in my windows. It was freaking Carl out, and it kind of destroyed her. And I was totally honest with her. I told her my whole history, and she knew I was going to Anastasia's to work on the house to help her so she could get money to pay Eric. But Anastasia twisted that around to make it look like we were in a relationship so that she wouldn't have to pay, because the whole thing was, in the end, I told Anastasia, that's it, I'm out of here, you're not even trying to get the house, what do you call that, appraised. And I told her I'm going back and reestablishing myself with Carl, because me and Carl had drifted away a bit because I wasn't. And Anastasia went ballistic, locked me out of the house, bare ass in the middle of winter. 40 below, I'll never forget that. It was one of the coldest nights. And then when I finally got in the house, she just laughed. I asked her, why'd you do that? She, like a psycho person, just
Basil, I'm confused about one thing here. I'm hoping you can clarify for me.
I'm confused. I'm wishing I could figure this out.
The information we have, Carol Culleton, our information is you just met her in September, is that not correct?
No.
Through the Wilsons?
No, the Wilsons. I don't even know them. I met the Wilsons through Carol.
So how long have you known Carol for?
Approximately 3 years. Before.
And are you in a relationship with her?
Yes. Carl and I had sex, no problem.
Okay.
When I went to help Anastasia tried. She walked around naked. She tried, and I couldn't. I went and told the doctor, there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
This young, whatever, struts around. She even in the hot tub would sit on my lap, and nothing. And my doctor told me, Basil, all the things that have happened with women with you, it's psychological. She's like a daughter to you, and it never happened. The doctor even gave me, because I thought there's something severely wrong with me, and it didn't even work. It didn't work. And then I thought it was because of my hernia, that was my thing, and I don't know. But then when me and Carl got back together, it seemed to all work again. I don't understand. So me and Carl were apart at the time while I was in jail because Anastasia put me there.
How long were you in jail for, Basil?
A year.
When was that?
I got out in January, so I went in January.
January of this year you got out?
This past January.
Okay. So, this conversation with your neighbor, when is this happening? Today's Wednesday. So when are you having this spiritual conversation?
Tuesday night. It has to be Tuesday. Today, somebody else told me today's Thursday.
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So then Monday. Today's Wednesday. Tuesday. So then Monday night, me and Elizabeth were talking. Monday. I don't remember. Even I remember Natalie's walking from the house to the vehicle, and I remember thinking like I was beside myself, or like a zombie, or not there. I had the weirdest feeling walking from. I don't remember. I don't know. And then I drive, and I'd say, "Where do I go, God?" And I turn on this highway and that highway, and I didn't even know where I was going. I was in Dacre and places. I have no idea.
So what happened after you're talking to Elizabeth? What can you remember about that?
Going to sleep. I don't even remember going to sleep. I don't know if I counted reading the Bible or if I, which I do read a lot, and I fall asleep with it. And we had a drink. I had two rye, I remember that, and she had 2 beer. I gave her 2 beer, a Bud Apple and a Coors Light, and that's it.
What kind of ride was it?
Forney Creek.
It's a good ride.
And I don't drink much. It's a rare thing. And I don't know. I haven't slept in probably 5 days. I remember sleeping like an hour in the middle of the afternoon, and somebody phoned and woke me up, and I looked and I figured it's about an hour's sleep I've got. But that's been going on for months. I'm getting less and less and less.
What's going on with that? You know, why is that
I
happening?
don't know. And then I burn out, and then I sleep for 20 hours straight, and then it all starts again. It's been happening. That's why I told you I was trying to get talk to. I called the crisis line, Terry.
When were you talking to them, Basil?
Strong. So. Now I lost that. Rikuski, my probation person, would know that person's name. It's not Terry.
And this is the crisis line person you're trying to think of.
Yes, and they were supposed to get me a mental health worker. I wanted to talk to somebody, and I kept telling everybody that I'm gonna blow here, like there's some, but I didn't think this was, I thought blow was I was gonna go apeshit, screaming, yelling like a retard in the field or something. I felt like my head was gonna blow off.
That's what stress does.
And then,
Basil.
but as far as that day, other than I had a pad of paper, and I wanted to get out of this area. Because I wanted to get away from the
Killing Loop.
OPP. And I thought I was going to go to Ottawa. I don't know what I thought, because everything was just snapping in my head. Like, I don't know why.
When you woke up after finally getting some sleep Monday, what can you remember about that?
I don't even know if you're saying when I woke up Tuesday. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you woke up Monday night or Tuesday morning. I don't know.
I don't even know if I slept, or if I did. I don't know. I don't even know when I left. Oh yes, I do. I left around 8 o'clock, or no, earlier. I think I made coffee.
I normally just wake up around 5 every day, regardless of if I sleep 2 hours, it's 5 o'clock.
Okay.
It just is.
So where did you go when you woke up?
I believe I went to the gas station in Palmer, Gulix, and I sat there because they weren't open. And then there was no gas in the car, or very little.
Do you have your own vehicle?
No, I borrowed a car off of Cheryl, neighbor downstairs.
Okay.
It was like a nightmare, or not a nightmare, a dream, or I remember a zombie.
Where'd the gun come from?
I told you I got it in the scrapyard. And I thought I was going to protect myself from the police. The police were shining lights and were sitting in front of the house. And I'm telling you, it's either post-traumatic or it could be with somebody, and I see it. This was back when I was with Natalie. I used to tell her to turn here because there's a police car, they're going to get off the road and hide. And
What do you mean you felt like a zombie? What was going on there?
like I was beside myself, like I was looking at this from over there. I could see myself. That's the way to look at it. I thought I could see myself walking from over there,
Or
beside myself,
what did you see yourself doing?
walking from the house to the car. I remember, I don't know, I really don't. I still don't know. I don't know if I have to get more sleep, if I have to, I don't know. I just know that's, and then I started writing after. It's a good thing I started writing.
What'd you write?
I don't know. I can't remember. Stuff. You just have the pad.
Have you felt like a zombie before?
No. No, that's why that's why I remember. I thought it was weird, like the word zombie came into my, but it wasn't, I don't know what a zombie is. It was like, I remember like as if I was over there looking at myself walking. I know that doesn't make sense, but that's what I remember.
What do you remember after the walking?
Not much. I remember being in a car. I remember saying, God show me where to go. And I remember saying, Dear Father, every little while. Not incessantly, but every 10 minutes maybe or something, or roughly half, I don't know. I just know I said it a lot.
What was God telling you to do? What was he telling you?
I believe that God was telling me where to turn, because I was driving on roads that I didn't even know where they were going. I remember being in Dacre and I was wondering, what the hell am I doing here? And then in a bunch of little towns. And I remember I pulled into some little, like a park, roadside park place. And I drove around the circle. And then I drove back out on the highway. And I remember saying, I don't understand why you wanted me to do that, but there must be a reason. And that would have been, I don't know where that was.
What happened at Carol's? Can you remember that? At the cottage?
I remember, I was at the cottage the night before.
On Tuesday.
Okay. You said today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So you were arrested yesterday afternoon in Ottawa. If that helps.
Tuesday. I was arrested.
Yes.
So Monday, I was at the cottage. And that's when Carol was, I already knew about her and the other, she had told me, but that's when she said that her and her man called me BF. And she said that they thought it was funny. And he kept texting her. And she was laughing in the house. And she told me that they had this joke about me being BF, best friend, the guy that'll do anything that she asked for nothing or whatever.
Why would she tell you that? Why would she try to hurt you like that?
I asked her that. I asked her in my text to her, I asked her, why would you hurt me like that? I don't know. I don't know.
She wouldn't tell you.
She never told me in my text when I asked her. She laughed. And then I don't even know the guy's name, never asked. When she first told me that she was with him, she said that she couldn't live like that, and that was it. I never asked no more questions. So she told me he's younger. I don't know how old, I don't know his name, I don't know, because it wasn't in the court, and I thought it was in her past. And it wasn't.
But when you saw her in person, she wouldn't tell you?
Tell me what?
Why she decided to hurt you like that?
She never told me. She just said, we joke around and laugh about this. We call you my BF. And then she said, best friend. And it's more or less like they talked. I threw her cell phone out of the car somewhere because it was ringing. I never even looked at her stupid cell phone, but it probably had stuff there. Obviously it would. God, I wish I had smoke.
You smoke, do you?
Yes,
And show me, see if I can get you one, Basil.
I love one. I chain smoke. Nervous.
How do you feel right now?
I don't know. I'm tired and confused and I'm trying to make sense of this, and I know what. I remember Monday, if you said that was Tuesday, it was Monday.
Well, it could have been, I don't know when you were at Carol's cottage, if it was Monday night or Tuesday. Monday is when you were talking to Elizabeth.
The same day I was there at the cottage, and in the evening I came home and I was talking to Elizabeth. I was at the cottage, it came from there.
Did you go back there after talking with Elizabeth?
Oh, I don't think so. No, And it seemed, I would ask him, God, show me what to do. And I remember there was, I don't know if I was seeing a light or seeing it in my head.
Why would God have you kill those women, Basil? That seems kind of counterintuitive. Like, what reason could there be for that?
No, to me it seemed like God was trying to show me that the commandment isn't thou shalt not kill, it is thou shalt not murder, and that when it's murder to kill somebody that's innocent. That's why I couldn't kill myself, because I thought about shooting myself, but I can't do that because I am innocent, didn't do it wrong. Because that would be me murdering myself. Does that make any sense?
It does.
And
So Carol,
and so no, the way you're saying it would be counterintuitive, no. It seemed that I understand it, that that's what God was saying was the right thing to do.
so in terms of Carol and Anastasia and Natalie, would you say you killed them or murdered them?
I killed them because they were not innocent. They were guilty. I was innocent. I done nothing wrong. So in God's eyes,
And
it doesn't make sense, does it?
no, it does make sense. Especially when you talk about the change in diction with the Bibles, right? Murder versus kill.
The change in,
Well, remember when they changed the Bible from the initial, like the King James, it was murder, and then they changed it to kill?
I don't know why they changed. Some Bibles say kill, I know the older
Yeah.
ones all say murder, that's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it makes sense to me, because if it said, I believe the Bible is perfect. If the Bible said, thou shalt not kill, we couldn't eat meat. That made it simple as that. Because the Bible is literal, means what it says. It's not like us people that, people say something and it means absolutely.
So when you say that Natalie and Anastasia and Carol are not innocent, it's because of all these wrongdoings they did to you over the years, the stealing everything that you have. That's where the innocence
And
is
the
missing.
lying to the police to achieve, I didn't lie. It's all about lies, not about the money and the things, it's lying. I will not lie. If I do tell a lie, it's to protect somebody, like my daughter, or I will avoid, and that's a lie to avoid sometimes, but it's always to.
Basil, you tell me that you don't lie. You would only lie if you were protecting somebody from...
Which I would call it.
Yeah. Are you lying to me when you say you don't remember how you killed those women? When you're talking about this zombie and seeing outside yourself and God telling you, are you lying to
I
me?
never told you that. What did you say?
When you tell me that you don't remember clearly what's happening after you left Elizabeth, remember you talked about, you said you feel like a zombie
Yeah.
and you don't remember everything? Are you lying about that?
I never said I don't remember. I think you're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not. That's the last thing I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to clarify what you're saying. That's all I want to do. I do not want to put words in your mouth. I just want to understand what you're saying.
I'm not lying about zombie. I'm not lying about driving.
Okay.
I'm not lying about praying. I'm not lying about asking God to show me
where to go, and because I wondered why I'm in Dacre, and wherever I was, I don't remember Dacre. I remember the sign. And
Did you
what
want
are you
the,
asking me? Am I lying about?
when you said you felt like a zombie and you couldn't remember?
No, I'm not lying.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
That's all I was asking you.
No, you just said more. You asked me if you were putting where. That's not what you asked me. You asked me if I remember.
If you do remember everything.
I don't remember everything, not yet.
Okay.
I think that I remember more this morning than I sure as hell did last night, because that guy wanted to talk to me, I told him on the phone, I said, I don't even want to talk to you, I don't even want to listen, I'm so tired. And he said, well, then hang up the phone. I don't know what he said, I don't know.
Well, you know lots of things, because we've been talking for a while now, and clearly you're doing a great job of remembering some things, and you're understanding what I'm saying, and you're aware that you can talk to a lawyer at any time. So, I mean, you're clearly with me in the moment right now, I would say.
I don't think I'm clearly in the moment with you right now. I don't think that I don't think I told you for weeks, months maybe. I've been telling everybody I'm going to blow or explode, and it feels like my head is so full of things and nobody listens, and I feel like I'm all.
Well, what kind of things was it full of?
I just told you, I feel like I'm alone, or there's nobody helping me, and over and over, and those things. What I'm telling you is what I'm talking about, and panic, and feelings of loss.
Hurt, I would guess, by what you're describing. I think if somebody was laughing at me, like a girl.
No, not the hurt is only in the last few.
I think Carol laughing at you with your boyfriend would hurt anybody.
No, I'm talking about in the last month or longer, or 2 months, I've been telling people in this book, I may have felt hurt in the last 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
But not because hurt wasn't part of it, it was alone. I've been thinking a lot about how alone I am in this world, and I think about how the police took everything away on me, and my family, and my brothers and sisters, because I realize that even my own family, they have doubts about Basil now. And I don't blame them, because it's so much, it's overload, and I guess overload is what's happened to me. And no, I don't even feel like my family treats me like part of the family anymore.
Do you remember when I told you earlier when we started talking that's why?
But my family has seen my ex-wife do crazy things, like see devils coming through walls, like sleeping with my cousin at my brother's wedding, like lots of stuff. But my family has never come forward. When my wife does crazy things and blames them on me and accuses me, my family has never come forward and said, she's the one that's nuts, she's done this. They never ever came to it.
And they're not taking your side.
They don't, and Marianne always brought a whole barrage of her family, her mother, and sister, and they're all hiding the big family secret that they have a brother that is a pedophile, and I always look like the
Well, that would certainly explain why you feel alone all the time, Basil. People in your own family treating you like that.
Well, it's not that they're treating me like that, it's just that they don't want to get involved and I don't know. But it has evolved to the point now where I think if they would have in the beginning, the very first time, my wife one time took her top off in the car with my brother, and my brother actually came back and told me. That was good. But another brother saw my wife screwing my first cousin, who was his buddy, in the car. He never told me till 7 years later. That's not good. It's better to know the truth. He taught more of his cousin than me, his own brother.
Can't get caught in the truth, right?
You can't get caught in the truth. That was my dad saying. Have you ever heard that before?
Just because you told me your dad told you that.
Have you ever heard that before?
I can't say that I have, no.
Does that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense, yeah. Especially in my line of work, right?
I have lived by that all my life.
I can tell you firsthand, that's exactly how people get themselves in trouble, lying. Getting caught in the lies.
But the problem is people don't get themselves in trouble, lies. People lie about people to hide what they done. And that would be my ex-wife, this Laura Lee Kelly. And there's some men that don't ever think you're going to think for women, because there's men out there that have stuck knives in my back. But it always goes back to money. And again, right from the Bible, even that night I was reading to that lady about money is not, I can't remember the words, but I just know the feeling. I have had that in me. Believe this or not, I am poor, filthy poor. I live at $850 a month. I had a little bit of RSPs and things, cash hidden aside. I don't even know how I ever done it this long lasted. With Carol, I tried to tell her that money means nothing to me. She, at one point, said to me, this is my cottage. She kind of took offense that I had done so much work there, because I had built a deck without asking her. I surprised her. I thought it was like a gift. And I connected 2 decks, stuff like that. So we had she thought that I was taking over, and we got over it. I told her, I said, okay, I want to start on no projects. I'm sorry, it was a gift. Whatever. Where was I going with that? Oh, money. I wanted on, Carol knew all about Anastasia and Natalie, and my ex-wife was the same with the money, and Laura Lee Kelly. And there's a few men in my life, which I don't want to even go into that, not gay, but men, dealings, things that I've gotten the old dagger in the back from. I'll tell you, I don't care. When I was driving around, I went to Natalie. You're really going to hear it now. I remember this. When I was with Natalie, there's a big fat guy. I have no idea what his name is. He owns a sawmill in White Lake. I found out through the grapevine. All I know is the big guy. Natalie was buying the backhoes from the big fat guy, and he always came with a nephew. And lots of times, Natalie would tell me to go out because he said he wanted little peewee eggs for his sister. So we saved small eggs. This is a couple of years back. Natalie somehow got a deal going through him, told me that she leased a backhoe from Quebec. The backhoe was on the farm. I can't remember how much
but she told me that tobacco cost per month, but it seemed awfully cheap. But anytime I would say anything, she talked French too on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to. And then she had papers that were in French, and she told me this was
What happened at Natalie's after Carol's?
then after Natalie put me in jail for saying that I was going to hang that kid, which I did not do, never intended to, never even crossed my mind. I'm in jail. She continued to sell backhoes, and she flaunted one, drove it around. I knew that it was stolen. She had a boy driving around and leave it out in the middle of the field. They were trying to, and anyway, the police went there and found some stuff. But this other man, Jimmy McClement, apparently moved 4 backhoes. I always found out this stuff from the farm. They were being delivered to the back of the farm. 4, 2 New Holland yellow, some other. Anyway, Natalie tried to put the blame on me. When police finally came and found that backhoe, Natalie called the guy and told him, I'm in the clear. She put the finger blame on me.
Natalie
Which doesn't make
Natalie
sense.
is not innocent. That's very clear in all this, from what you're telling me.
The part that I don't understand is why did the police go there? They found this stuff there. I'm in jail, so I couldn't possibly have anything to do with this. But instead of charging her or looking into it, she got off with nothing. And when I got out of jail, they started watching me because they thought that I was some sort of a kingpin in a stolen backhoe ring. And the funny thing is that I'll never forget this. Bruce Sawbridge Cop was the guy. He called me. He said, Basil, you know how this goes. Do you want me to surround the place, or do you want me to just come and pick you up at the farm, whatever? I said, well, just come pick me up. And I'm talking to him, and I realized I didn't even know why he was there. And I thought, this is probably about those stupid stolen backhoes. And I was at the car, and I said to him, can I go back to the house to get something? And he said, no. He said, can I send my partner to get it? If he would have let me go back, I wanted to go back and grab that lease paper that Natalie said was from the backhoe, and because I thought that's what it was about. I thought that was going to be charged with something to do with the backhoes that Natalie, and it was nothing to do with that. Even though by that time I knew that backhoe was stolen. Because I got it out of the car, how I done it. I said, there's something wrong here, Natalie. It's too cheap, or wow, how could that company make money? But then anyway, when I'm in jail, I know for a fact, and if the police wanted to figure it out, all they had to do was go to the neighbor, because there's a garage next door, and I'm sure the neighbor must have seen the backhoes leaving that property, because they'd have to drive it right, or float them right past. But they didn't want to. Nobody wanted to prove that Basil's innocent. They wanted to find a way to make Basil guilty instead of. And then Natalie laughed about it and told one of the guys that got caught with one that she was in the clear. And then I got a letter from her lawyer saying that when I got out of jail, that if I wanted to collect my backhoe and something else stuff, I was supposed to contact the OPP. So they were trying to get me to go and say that. I couldn't believe it. Like, how, I don't know if the police put the lawyer up to that. I don't know what the real thing.
Basil, after all this stuff has happened, the one thing I want to ask you, did you want the police to kill you?
Yeah. Because then I wouldn't have to kill myself.
Because then you would be going against.
Right?
The only thing, I understand that line of thinking, you explained that very well. The only thing I don't understand is the note that you left for the police in the Ottawa area saying that you don't have a gun, don't shoot me. What, that kind of goes against that. Why did that
Because
happen?
at that time I had sat in about 3 different places and I had been writing, and I thought that if I wrote it out as, and for me, when I was writing it, I thought this is the most clear thing I've ever done, was try to write it, and it made sense, and I thought maybe I shouldn't die, maybe I asked. I was still a little bit in the God there. I thought God was helping me write it. God took me there, God took me. And I thought that maybe I should stay alive, and that, no, there was more. I remember thinking, if I'm dead, who will explain this? Or something. I don't know. And then I decided I put the gun down first. And then I walked a little piece. Then I wrote on one page. And I hung it on a branch. Don't murder me, I'm...
Well, you're exactly right, then there's no one to explain, right?
I have no gun or something. I can't remember what I wrote. And then, but up until that point, I was hoping that fucking just without me knowing I would, I was actually hoping when the helicopter flew over that it sent a torpedo down.
So what is it you think you're left here to explain, Basil? What is it you want to, what's your message in all this?
It is no message, it's vindication would have been. But you're not following me here. There's 2 things. It's like me walking, being the zombie, and me over here looking at the zombie. It's like a lot of what I'm telling you is history of 20 years, got to here, and then there's the zombie part. So the guy watching the zombie is me. The guy that's watching the zombie is how I got here. Does that make sense to you? The 20 years of my ex-wife, where it started to...
There's always a reason why something happens, right?
Does that make any sense?
Of course it is. There's always a reason why things happen, and you get 20 years of reasons. As I think you tried to explain here today.
And I know I'm nut cracked or something, or that doesn't make sense. I never experienced a zombie or the... I don't even know how I just told you what I did.
Well, because you tell the truth. That's what you do.
No, but I can't even explain how I got that. How did I ever figure out that?
Do you remember what you did after you left Carol's?
Of...
Does that help? If you think about it like a chronology, when you left Carol's, and somehow you end up at Anastasia's.
I just left Carl's and I said, God, what do I do? And I remember going through a little bit of construction, and I just drove in, and I remember thinking that God is really helping me, because when I went to Carl's, Carl walked right outside.
Mm-hmm. What did she do?
And then I asked her, I said, why do you hate me?
you doing this to me, Rebel? And then she closed the door. I was right there. And then I broke the window with my elbow. And I reached in and I unlocked the door. And she said, "This is not you, Basil. This is not you."
You know what happened?
Then she told me that Dave was coming over because the hydro was out. And I said, "You're lying to me again." And there was a cable TV coil. I picked it up and I hit her with it and I wrapped it around her head. And she just kept saying, "This is not you, Basil, this is not you." And then her then I walked around in the cottage. I dumped the bag on the table and her purse maybe or something. Got her keys. And I remember taking my cell phone because I thought I was going to read it to see who this guy was, but I never did. I ended up throwing it out the window. I remember throwing it. But that was already near Eganville somewhere, way later. I didn't even go to Eganville.
Basil, take my hand for a second.
For what?
I just want to shake your hand. I want to thank you for being the guy that you said you are this whole time you've been here, a truthful, good person. It's a rare experience. I get to meet somebody who actually walks the talk to preaching.
Walks like what?
Yeah. Well, you said you 9 out of 10, you're a truthful person. And you don't lie unless it's to protect somebody, other than the little white lies.
I'm not sure why.
Well, that's what you're doing right now. You're being truthful.
Doesn't matter. Why would I lie? What does it matter? Think about it.
It's just like you said, you never get caught in the truth, right?
Should remember that one. You should remember that.
I'm going to.
Everybody should remember that.
I'm going to.
Then I really don't know. You know what? Maybe I'm really tired again, and maybe if I.
Yeah. Do you want me to see about that smoke?
I'd love that. It would take away some of the.
Okay, let me go and try and run one up for you. I won't be as long as I was with the water. Do you want another water?
Yes, please.
Okay. Here you go, Basil. Smoke's coming, they just put it
Can
in
I grab
front.
some Kleenex or toilet paper?
Yep.
Or can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, just 1 second, just let me sort out where it is and we'll go right in a second here, okay? Kleenex you want in?
Piss.
Yep. Hey Basil, we'll go to the bathroom next door if you want to hit the can, and then I got a smoke for when you get back here. Come on, Sierra. Back in here? Yep. Thanks. Thanks.
bring that whole thing in?
What?
You just bring that whole roll in. Come on, it's no problem. Here, I'll grab it for you. Okay. And we got well, you have the cigarette right here, Basil. Let's go grab it for you. Okay, Basil, here you go. Just gonna throw some water in that for the ashes.
I finally went crazy, didn't I? It wasn't just that day.
Through other days?
I think a couple of days before, it was maybe right through.
Mm-hmm. Take your time, take a minute.
Don't touch me, please. The more I think, I remember not just being beside, I remember being behind myself, watching myself, walking to the car from the building. It was like I was over there. I'm here, but the
This is from your building, Basil?
as if I was watching from a camera myself. I should be talking to the psychiatrist. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I remember this was days before. But that's what I remember, seeing myself walking out of the building with the gun. Days. I had the gun in the apartment. I smuggled it in because I thought that the police were going to come. There's something wrong with me there. There's not something wrong with me. It's real. I am afraid of the fucking police. And I have good reason to be. So I brought the gun there because I thought that someday they're going to come and kick in my door. And I wasn't putting up with no more. I'm going to shoot the cocksuckers. Leave me alone. And then, I don't know why I wanted to take the gun out of the apartment because I don't know why. So I took it and I hid it in the bush. In a garbage bag. But that doesn't mean I wasn't doing that. I see myself doing that. Doesn't it make sense? I was over there. I'm here. I'm like a camera and
Where did you lay it in the bush, Basil?
just along the road. Backward. But it's all fucked up. I'm sure that was, I don't think it was a week earlier. Days. Maybe not. I don't know. I know I done it. And I took those rusty old bullets. I hid them with it. I didn't really hide it. I took them just in the bush. But
Where did you have the bullets?
with the gun. The gun was never loaded when it was in the house.
Did you take the gun with you to Carol's?
Yes. I took it everywhere with me then. Until I dropped it in the bush there. And that was only because I sat at that on the picnic table. No. Yeah. I was sitting at the picnic table and I was writing. And I felt at peace. I was quiet, alone, and calm. Everything was, and I write all the time. If you go to my apartment, there's fucking rights everywhere. It's like, that's who I talk to, is paper. It doesn't make any fucking sense. No one listens to me. So nobody helps me figure out what was the right thing to do. Like, I'm telling the fucking truth through my divorce, through everything. I never lied, and they listen to the fucking lies. So who do I talk to? Nobody. That Radkowski, what the fuck is his name? I tried to tell him, and he said, you don't want to do that, you don't want it. I go, holy fuck, I'm telling him my head's going to explode, and he's not listening to me. I kind of knew, or I knew, he said, I don't know what I fucking knew. I knew I needed help. I phoned the fucking... And I remember telling my probation lady that she was fucking more help to me than anybody that I fucking never called, because I'd never got replies, or fucking, it was like, that's months ago, a long time ago. And I tried to get my daughter to come and talk to me, and we ended up getting a big fight because she, maybe, I don't know, fuck. I probably, because me, I couldn't deal with it, no, nothing anymore. It was, nobody fucking listens to me. Nobody helped me. Nobody. And I was not lying, ever. I remember God, how the fuck did I do that? I took it to the bush, left it there for a day or two, maybe, or three, I don't fucking know. Then, after the lady and me were talking about the Bible, I tried to sleep, and I did. Maybe I fell asleep. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. That's when I went and got the gun. And I brought it back to the building, and I carried it. This is all me watching me do it. It's like over there. Does this make any fucking sense? Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. I carried it down by the garden shed. I was trying to get a garden going at the building because I wanted to fucking get some of those people there out of the apartments and fucking be a little friendlier. They're all fucking fighting like idiots. And anyway, I hid there in the bush. Again. I don't know why. And I remember thinking I shouldn't. But I did. Then I went to bed. I didn't go to bed. I just laid on the couch and I fell asleep. I don't. Mm-hmm. I was so fucking tired. I couldn't sleep. And you know, I only, it's like bits. I remember driving the car, and I'm beside the car, not in the car. I'm outside the door, and I'm steering here, but the car is over. And I remember God's helping me do what's right. I remember God saying, not saying, God never spoke to me. I remember thinking that God's making this easy because Carl came out the door. Because when I got to Anastasia's, she walked out the door. As soon as I walked, wasn't even at the door, she just walked out. And I asked Anastasia, I just said, why did you lie in court? And she said, I didn't. And the gun went off. Is it just lies? No.
Where did she get shot, Basil?
What do you mean?
What part of her body?
I have no idea. She ducked down the little island. I don't know. No.
Behind a little island?
There was a little island. And she was standing and she just went down and the gun went off after she went down.
So this is inside the house?
Yes.
Okay, because you said she'd come outside too.
Yeah, but she went in and I walked in right behind her.
Okay.
It was as if it was supposed to be. It's like she opened the door right when I just come there and I just walked. She turned around and walked in and I walked right in behind her. And
was anyone else there?
There was another girl there. She had a toothbrush in her mouth and she said, "Who are you? I'll kill you." And that's all.
What happened after that?
I just, again, I said, "God, what do I do now?" God told me to get in the car and drive down the highway, and I drove. See, I don't even know where I went. I went jiggity-jaggedy through a bunch of back roads, somehow 2 off on the road, and then to the farm.
Whose farm is this?
It wasn't mine, that was. It's not because she lied. I paid into it in cash because I was going through a divorce, but because my wife was cuckoo all those years, I kept socking money away. And I have friends that for probably 10 years before I ever left the wife, I told them, when Sarah turns 18, I'm out of there. I gotta get away, I can't take it anymore. Sarah wasn't, I couldn't do it. Sarah was only 13 maybe, and I couldn't take her anymore. Everything I'd done was fucking wrong. Everything I'd done was negative, yet it was as positive. I remember building a chip truck for my daughter and my wife cursing me out and beating on me and slapping me in the face, and I'd be crying, and I never hit my wife. She beat the shit out of me, and I fucking walked up in the bush. I don't know how many times I stood there and let her and said, "Fucking if it makes you feel better, go ahead." But after a while, years, I spent more time in the bush. And the day that my wife came back, I told her, I lived in a fucking trailer. I built that house. I'm the only one that ever worked. And I moved out into a trailer on the property, a travel trailer. And I told my wife, I'm doing laundry. You go to my daughters or our daughters and stay there. I'm going to the house. I got to do laundry. I went up to do laundry. She left. I start doing laundry. She fucking comes back. I knew what she was gonna do. I felt it. She's one side house, I'm on the other. I run out the fucking door and lock myself in the garage. From my own wife, I'm a fucking man and I'm hiding from my wife. Because you cocksuckers would never listen to me. You don't fucking understand that a man gets fucking beaten and he don't talk even. And I fucking believe me told you many times and you've done nothing. Nothing. You have no idea how humiliating that is to stand there and take it. To be told you're no fucking good. To be told that the guy she was with after she comes back was a better man than you. A bum! And I took it. I never hit that woman. Anastasia, you think I'm a big guy who's all, you put handcuffs on me like I'm some sort of a, fuck, you give me one little shot and I'm on the ground, you fuck, I'm a cripple for fuck's sakes. Anastasia beat the fucking shit out of me. She burned all my fucking clothes. She burned my boots. She burned everything. She fucking... Oh, I kept that house from burning down so many fucking times. She was going to throw a can of acid. She was crazy. She's bipolar. I kept telling my daughter, I could come here, I gotta get out of here. I was trapped. She threatened to drink acetone. Yeah. Oh, my old phone, if somebody would have kept it, it was on the phone that she was going to drink acetone. In court, she said that Basil drive. I never drove. Only one time because she got drunk. I was under suspension. She said, you drive, I'm going to drink. And we were at my brother-in-law's or my brother's getting electrical stuff for her house. So I drove her home. In court, she said I drove. That was a lie. Other than that one time, and I thought I had no choice. She's fucking plastered, so I drove us home. And the only other time I ever drove was on my buddy's farm on private property out to the gate because it was all icy and didn't think she could get the car out of there, so I drove out. I never drove anywhere. And that was wrong. They came, the police, and charged me with driving, whatever. That was the day that I could drive legally. If the Department of Transport would have sent me a license, it would have been as valid could be. They had no right to do that to me. They could have charged me with not having an up-to-date license or something, but I was legal. And that fucking asshole lawyer I had said that I should plead guilty. And I said, I'm not guilty of what they're saying. And that other asshole lawyer that I had, same thing. I mean, went madly thing. Basil, you're already in jail long enough. Plead guilty and you get out right now. I kept saying I'm not guilty. He was the same asshole lawyer that when Marianne charged for the last time, and I told him, no deals. I am innocent. No deals. And then they come up with that they're going to stay it. And for some reason, I have to agree. And I said, I don't agree. And he said, you have about 15 seconds to decide. If you don't agree, I can't represent you anymore. I'm telling the lawyer that I'm innocent, and he's fucking telling me that I have to agree. I said, if they stay it and they put conditions on me, that's the same thing as me saying I'm guilty. And I wasn't guilty. That's the thing, the fucking lies is what I never. And if you went back to the very first fucking time I was ever charged and looked into it, it's probably too late to find all the fucking people. But every word I said, I'm saying, and always did say, were true. Every one of them. My family's been destroyed. My home, everything. All because you believe the lies. Use police, and then take the lies and you project them to the courts, and the courts, oh, well, the cops know what they're doing. If even one time you would have fucking tried to find the real truth, it was there. Every time it was there. And I guess it's all, if you think about all those charges, all those things that I was accused of, it's overwhelming. I sat in jail for a whole year, rotted like a dog, knowing that, and all I did was read the Bible. Just read. Crept up, got a beaten, threatened, punched out. Because old guys like me that are crippled, you're a mark, you're fun for all of it. That's a cruel place there.
Which jail is it?
Both of them, they're the same, they're all kids today, young people, they have no morals. I watched other old guys half asleep sitting on a bench, and you go over and hit that guy in the head, I'll give you my, and it's fun, it's a joke, knock a 80-year-old man right on the floor, like, insanity, man, this world is insane. And I speak up, I get it beaten. It's an insane world. And now maybe I'm insane. Cracked, lost it. But I knew, and I tried. I knew it was fucking losing it. I didn't know how, what was happening, but I knew something was happening. I don't know why I can't remember that other custody guy's name. I couldn't believe it. I'm telling him I need to talk to somebody, and he says, you don't want to do it. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm telling you, my head's going to explode.
What, Basil, what kind of farm is this that Natalie was on that used to be yours?
It used to, when I was there, I had wild boar, I raised a couple hundred meat birds, I had cattle. But shortly after I was gone, she sold everything to different people. Actually, some of those backhoe friends of hers took a bunch of the stuff away. I don't know where anything went. I was in jail. I don't know where it went. But there's nothing there now. She kept everything. I could never go to court to get any of my stuff. All the farm equipment, the tractors and all of that were mine that I brought there from BB. And I got nothing. Everything. There's still balers there. And they're just rotting out in the field. She didn't care. I'm not covered, not fucking. I don't know who she's with. I don't know anything about her. I have no contact. And anesthesia. I told my phone, I almost had a nervous, she came to the building and she paced for 15 minutes back and forth in front of the building. So she's breaching the condition that I'm supposed to be. I was sitting outside with one of the guys in the building, a Tom that has cancer, and I finally said, that's. And I timed her. She was there 15 minutes, walking back and forth, looking at the building. I don't know what she thought I was going to do. I actually went around the corner and hid. I kept peeking out though, that she wouldn't see me. Because I thought she was trying to get me thrown back in jail again. And then I talked to my old neighbor, and she apparently got a house cleaning job there. And he told me that Anastasia wants to talk to you and she wants to give you something. Now my immediate reaction is fear. She's setting me up. She's trying to put me in jail. Again. She's bipolar. Lewd. So I run. And I do believe I've read a little bit about post-traumatic stress disorder. I believe I have that, but it's caused by use. Use, the police. Because yous have attacked me. Yous are the enemy. Over and over and over. I don't understand why.
So, Basil, if we're the enemy, and I can certainly see this frustration you have against the police with your experience with them, then why did these women get killed instead of police officers? Why not direct this anger towards us rather than them?
Because I never got there yet. We're not finished. You're not hearing the story. I told you about the fat man that was selling tobaccos to Natalie, stuck a knife into my back. They thought that I was a fucking kingpin in that fucking. I heard enough gossip stories around there that's why they were watching me when I lived on that farmhouse. I was afraid there. I was all alone, light shining, windows middle night, but there, police cruiser. Sitting up there all holding. I couldn't move. I was afraid. I went for a walk down the road one time. Police cruiser. I bet you I walked for a quarter of a mile. Police cruiser just idling right behind me all the way. I'm panicking. I just walk off into the bush. That's probably when I found the gun in the scrapyard. And it was there when they came. They ended up charging me with a bowl that wasn't working. It was my daughter's hanging on the wall, and she asked me to fix it. They charged me with a bowl, a crossbow for my daughter hunting. She left it at my house. One of the coppers seen it and came back, and they charged me with having a firearm, which caused me to never be allowed to have a gun. It was a bowl that I was trying to fix for my daughter. It was just fuck all. Dude, I wasn't using that for any. I forgot it was there even. I couldn't care less. It was a bow. And even my brothers thought I could bow hunt. Everybody, I thought I could bow hunt. I've never read or seen anything where I'm not allowed to have a bow. My whole family's hunters. Stupid. It's like they try to charge me with every fucking thing that. And then the retard lawyer tells me I should plead guilty. And after a while, I had given up anyway. I had given up. I had gone through so many court things. I didn't care. Do whatever the fuck you want. Stress. It's just.
This farm is Foymont Road. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah. I think that's the name of it.
What happened when you went to Natalie's farm on Tuesday?
What happened? I just drove in, walked in the door. She was sitting there. She She went around the corner, I followed her, boom, walked out. That's it. I don't think there was. And it was funny, it was like I wasn't even pulling the trigger on the gun was just going off. It was just like, boop. Anyway. It's like, I don't know how to.
Was there anyone else there?
I don't think so. I didn't see anybody.
Where did you go after?
And then drove again. And when I was driving, I went to the fat man. I was trying to tell you this. The guy that she was getting those backhoes from. He was the guy that was selling them. I found out where he lived, a little sawmill. Drove around the place. I talked to two people. I asked them, is the big guy here? And they both said no. One guy said he was there on the other side. The other guy said, no, he's not here. When I drove around, and then I left.
Did you ever know his name?
Never. Natalie. All of the, nothing. All I ever did with him was sold him eggs. When he'd come, she told me to go out and I would sell him eggs, little peewee eggs, and he always sent her for his sister. And he used to buy a little bit of chicken and stuff or something. But that's not what he was there for. It was, I'd sell or go out and go back and get eggs, and then Natalie would go over, and I don't know what the fuck they were doing. And then when I was in jail, the shit hit the fan over that, and there was people, I don't know how many I heard them charged with or caught with equipment, and I knew nothing about any of that. And little by little, I picked it. Even Anastasia knew somebody that had one of those stolen pieces of equipment. The connection between Anastasia and Natalie was, I really don't know the full, if I tried to tell you, I could be lying, so I'm not. I don't know how the real thing happened there between Natalie, the fat man, but somehow Anastasia knew, she told me she knew somebody that had one of those backhoes. I don't remember. But Anastasia used to come to the farm with Eric, the boyfriend. And poor Eric, I don't know whatever happened to him, but Anastasia told me that she was going to charge him. I don't know if the guy pled guilty or what he done or if it went. She told me that Chief was drunk and fell against the railing and broke it, cracked it. And then she told the police that he pushed her. And I told her that was wrong, not to do that. And then I thought I had convinced her. And I went to a friend's house sit for a week, and when I was gone, she phoned the police and charged him. And I seen the railing, and it was a joke. I don't know what happened to him. I did even text him and tried to warn him that she was going to charge him with assault and that I was trying to talk her out of it. But he had already told me that she is nuts, and I didn't believe, because I only as a friend, and I never saw her go ape shit.
This is the fat man?
No.
Oh.
Eric was the guy that
Anastasia's boyfriend.
Yeah. First he rented my house.
Yeah.
I was living on the farm finally. Then they bought the house. And then they were splitting up. And I didn't I believed Anastasia, and I think I was wrong. I don't know about that, Eric.
Basil, you said that you'd been at a gas station that was closed when you first went to get gas.
There's only one gas station in Palmer. I pulled into the parking lot and I sat there for a while. Because there was the little light was on, the gas pump.
And what's it called?
Gulex. It's Gulick Forest Products. And the gas is very seldom open, but it was a Monday or Tuesday, is it? So, I phoned there. Yes, to see if it was open.
This is Gulick's in Palmer.
Yeah. Okay. But there was no answer.
Now, is this after you'd been speaking with Elizabeth about the Bible?
Yeah, next day maybe.
But before you went to Carol's?
Yeah. And I didn't get gas because they were all
closed, right?
I sat there for a while and then
the phone that you took from Carol's cell phone.
Yeah. I only took it because I dumped her purse to find the keys, and there was the phone. I don't know how I picked it. Well, I took. I don't know. I don't remember thinking about it, but I just thought I was gonna. Maybe that wasn't. Maybe the thought was. I don't know. I thought I was gonna read. I wanted to read why she was laughing when she was texting. She was really laughing a lot in the cottage, and I was sitting over there.
Do you remember where you threw the phone away? You seemed to think it was Eganville, but then you weren't sure.
I never went to Eganville. I wouldn't think I threw the phone away. I'm 4 or 5 miles from the Flyman farm, because I know it rang, and it was on the dash, and I just, window was open, I just threw it.
Did you notice any landmark in the area?
I haven't got a clue.
If I showed you a map, would you know the road?
It's just the same road. But I have no idea. I never did look up. When it started to ring or chirp, I just assumed it was the guy.
There was a nylon rope that the police found at Carol's. Do you know anything about that? The yellow nylon rope?
Yeah, that had a loop in it that they used, I put through to pull branches. There was a loop tied on the end of it, and the other end was open, I think. And then I'd slip the open end through the loop and hook it around branches to drag them to the fire pit.
Mm-hmm. How did it end up in the house?
It was almost in the house. Carl was giving me shit for leaving tools outside, things outside in the weather, like, you know, even a screwdriver she'd flip out on. Yeah. So everything was, and cable, TV cable, and the rope, I guess, were in a pile when I picked it up.
How do you feel about what's happened to these women, Basil?
say to you because there's two of me.
Well,
That doesn't make sense, does it?
well, let's hear two perspectives.
It's
How do you feel right now? Not at the time is what I'm getting at. Right now, me and you in this room.
empty. Empty, confused, even disorientated, if that makes sense. Like, because, and like this, there's still, how do you say it? Part of me says, I don't God, and the other part is saying strongly. So I don't know. I am fucking, I never even realized until I was just talking to you here when I tried, now I can't even bring it back. When I tried to explain to you about me being here and I've done something about the zombie was there and I tried to explain it to you here and that made something, because I never saw it like that. I don't know how I done it. I explained it to you without me fucking, and right now I don't even know how I explained to you. If that
Well, do you understand how what's happened to these three women is wrong?
Yeah.
Would you take it back if you could?
Of course you would. But I don't know. Why? Doesn't make sense. Yet when I asked Anastasia, why did you lie? Why couldn't she just have said, I'm sorry? And I'm sure now I would have stopped. But no, that would have been enough. Or say, cause, or say, and it's because you lied. It would have stopped right there, but she still lied. And Carl lies. And I talked to her so much about being honest and the truth and positive, and she still lied. And I told her about how lies have fucked me and my family and my life and how it has projected me as something I'm not. I don't really care, but I have a bad bone in my body. So many people know about all the things my ex-wife done. I've been told I would never put up with that. I would be so mad. I would kill her. All of these things. And anytime I said all I feel is pity. I feel sorry for her. I've told my kids
feel sorry for your mother. And I tell them that if they could help her, I can't anymore. They were going to one time I heard them talking about an intervention. I was happy. I thought, oh, the kids will get together, they'll do something. So I feel sorry for my ex-wife. And you asked me about the police. Yeah. The cop, because Miller put it to me for nothing, and the other one was Laura's friend, the cop. I can't even remember his name. Because he put it to me, and he was fucking cruel.
Laura's friend, the cop. Don't remember his name.
It's right there, but it's not there. Dirty fucking cop. Yeah, the one I'm talking about used to sell cocaine in high school. He was in high school. Laura, I guess, was in high school. She's older. And Laura's a bipolar drug addict. I know this for a fact because I don't know how many people told me about him, and now he's a police officer. And fucking, what is this? When Laura stole my truck, we didn't even talk about that. He came. I phoned the police. He came instead of following through. And I told him, I said, it shouldn't be you. This is a conflict of interest because you're a friend of hers. And he just kept on talking. I said, why? There's another cruiser. I said, why isn't that cop talking? I don't know him. He said, no. He kept on. Then he left my place and he went directly to her place and told her everything that I said and that she was going to be charged. And then after, a day or two later, then he removed himself from the case because of a conflict of interest. But first he went to a Shirley Bird, and Laura stole my credit cards in Ottawa. And I thought it's so simple. The video in the store and in the city at Christmas, her using my card, and nothing happened. Nothing. What is that cop's name? He was supposed to go and talk to the tow truck driver. I remember reading some of the paper, and he never did. I went to talk to the tow truck driver and asked, did that cop ever come and ask you? You know. And yet I read Shirley Bird's thing, assigning that cop to go. And so I went and asked that tow truck driver myself. No, never did show up. So anything to not get the truth is what happened. And it's the same, it's the same time that the two cops beat me up New Year's Eve because they seen the criminal record. I was the designated driver. I don't care what anybody says. I did not drink. She was drunk. I was driving her home. I pretended to drink that night because she's bipolar. So she would push me with her drink. I'd take it. I'd hold it. A little while later, she'd take it out of my hand and give it back. She'd put it. I'd hold it. I never took one fucking drink. She thought I was drinking. But that was to appease her. As long as she thought I was drinking, she was happy. I had to drink with her. I didn't drink. And then the cops, they pulled me over at the roadside. It wasn't a roadside, it was just two cops drunk in a police cruiser on the back road that I used to get home. They'd been there for hours because there was that much snow on the road. I pulled over and two of them get out and they're both fucking wobbling. The radio in that cruiser was so loud you couldn't even hear. And I told him I was a designated driver and whatever, and they just carried on. And then a little while not quite home, the same cruiser comes pulls me over again. And that's because they read a computer thing. They ran my plate, and there it was Basil Borutski was charged with rape and whatever. 12 charges that weren't supposed to be there. He was found not guilty of them. That was all a loony wife. I was already years before and gone, and I was never found guilty of none of them. And that's why the police should have seen that. And then the next time she went nuts, they should have been saying, hey, look at this lady's loony. She ran him through the ringer twice already. Now this is the third time. Why aren't we looking at his side? But that's not the way it was. Again. And then I lost my house over that. It's crazy.
When you look at,
I know where that cop lives on Mask Island in Barry's Bay, and I can't remember his name. It's not there.
Mask Island?
It's right in the town of Barry's Bay. There's a little causeway in Mask Island he lives on.
And this is OPP guy?
Yeah.
Basil, when you look back at everything that's happened to you here over the last couple of days since Monday, do you feel sorry about how it all ended?
Of course I feel sorry. Maybe that's why I didn't. No, I know why I didn't shoot myself. But I did know that if I kept the gun and waved it around, for sure I would have been shot. I was thinking but not thinking. I was thinking a little better when I sat down at that picnic table and I started writing. For some reason things seem to be more clear. Must have because I didn't move anymore.
How long were you there?
A couple of hours. Did you find the booze?
I'm not sure. Did you have booze there?
I had a bottle of 40 Creek and a bottle of wine and a little bottle of Fireball. I left the car and went through the bush back out to the highway, and I crossed the highway. And before I found the gun, I left the booze there because I planned on drinking and blowing my head off. But then by that time I started thinking about it, you can't do that, Basil, you're innocent. If you blow your head off, you'll never go to heaven because...
So the booze you left with the gun in the bush?
No, I dropped the booze, then a while later I left the gun. Maybe not far apart, 100 yards, 200 yards, I don't know. I just knocked the booze down. And later I was walking, I'm not in good shape. I don't know how long it took me to get that far. I know I was really, really tired. I remember my right leg was really sore, so I was sort of flopping around. Maybe I was in a plantation where I left the booze. They had a dog there, they must have found it, did not backtrack me.
You know what, they may have, I just don't know. This is the first I've heard of some booze, so. They may already have found it, I don't know.
I didn't open any of it. They were all new full bottles.
Okay.
I left $100 in Cheryl's console for gas. I thought I was going to get shot, so I texted her and told her I'm sorry.
Are there any other victims out here that we need to know about, Basil?
Victim?
Yeah, like other than these 3 women here, is there anybody else?
No.
No other bodies that we're gonna find?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. No. Let me ask you this, Basil. I understand that you don't
you have a mistrust for police and you don't like them. And I get that.
If you're listening to me,
I am listening. And what I want to ask you is, time you and I have been in here together today,
Yeah.
have I treated you fairly?
I don't know.
Well, you're sitting here, right?
I don't know if you treated me fairly. I don't know. I don't even really know what you're doing. I don't know if you're going to take whatever I said and twist it around, because that's what happens. And make a nightmare out of it. Like, make it worse, make it fucking, I don't know, can you make it worse? I don't know. I don't trust you. If you're asking me that, no. Treating me fairly, you haven't beat on me. I've been beat on.
Yeah. And that's what I get at. Have I treated you fairly here today?
If that's what you call fairly, yeah. You got me water and.
Well, I certainly haven't beat on you at all, correct? I haven't threatened you or haven't been mean to you, I don't think.
No.
Okay. Do you need another cigarette?
There's a lot one.
All right.
I guess I better reduce the quick and small for me.
No, I don't think that's the case. You still got water there? Okay.
I wish I could get some meds for my back for pain or see a doctor. Maybe I'd like to see a psychiatrist. Maybe, geez, would I ever like to know how it has happened?
Well, that information you gave me about your doctor and your condition, I'm going to make sure that the investigators have it so they can look into getting you whatever meds you need.
I would trust talking to a psychiatrist more than I trust you.
Okay.
A psychiatrist, a doctor, you're a cop. This is.
You got it. Okay, let me just get that smoke right.
You know,
Here, go ahead. In case you want something else to eat.
you know, like, I tell you that I don't hate my ex-wife for what she done to me, because I know what happened to her. Randy, that messed her up, and then I read books and talked to her. So I can understand why she struck out with me. So that's why I never even thought of ever killing her.
Okay.
Hurting her or anything. And then Carol, who I called Jiggy, her husband died 5 or 6 years ago. 5. But anyway, she never ever got over that. And she is, I actually told her that she should go to a counselor because she never dealt with the death part. And I call her Jiggy. You know what Jiggy is?
Like the fishing?
For fish.
Yeah.
Here's the bait, take the bait away. Here's the bait, take the bait away. I told her that's the way you treat me, Carol. You ask me to do stuff for you, and then when I do it, you tell me that I wasn't supposed to do it or that I'd done it. She was, I don't think bipolar, but she had and then there was this Ron guy that used to come. He even used to tell her. I remember hearing him say, like, Carol, you just got to make up your mind. You keep changing your mind. And
so Randy is your ex-wife's daughter's. Who's Randy? I'm a little bit confused
my
about that.
ex-wife's brother.
Your ex-wife's brother is Randy.
Randy Mask.
Mask. Like M-A.
SK. My ex-wife's name was Mary Ann Mask. I don't know if she's a Mask or a Borutski anymore because I haven't spoken to her since.
Okay. And this fat guy, we don't know his name.
I don't know his name. He owns a sawmill little tiny sawmill, lives in a house trailer.
And where's the sawmill?
Let me try to keep.
Okay.
The way it was explained to me is that it's in the town of White Lake. There's a roadside park at the lake, you know what I mean? Like a place with picnic tables, maybe a park. And he lives right next door to it, on the lake, in a trailer, and there's a little sawmill in the back.
Is there a name for the sawmill? It's in White Lake.
Right beside the. That's how I found it. That's why I just drove in there and I said, "Is the big guy here?" And the guy just knew what I would meant by the big guy because the guy is like 400, 500 pounds. I don't know. He's huge. Last night, I haven't seen the man since I was on that farm. He'd come for eggs, so it's 4 years ago, 5. I don't know. We did get to see him.
This road that goes out to your farm and Natalie's farm,
Yeah.
where you threw the phone away.
I don't know where I threw the phone away. I just know.
Oh no, but just what do you know the name of the road or?
It's that road that the farm's on. I was going towards Eganville, but I never went to Eganville, so it's before. I don't even know where I turned. I turned off that road, up the back road, and then I came out on it. And then I was in Baker. So, Daker's the only place I remember. The sign Daker. And I remember thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? And the answer would just be, well, God, you must know what you're doing. I'm in Daker. And then the next thing, I talked all the way.
So when you get to Daker, where's the farm in relation to Daker?
Way before. An hour maybe before. Give me a piece of paper. Farm. Long driveway beside highway. Egan Road. That way, maybe 40 minutes. Then before I didn't go to Egan, but I went that way. And then, I don't know the road. There's, it's not a road. I didn't turn 90 degrees. I turned like that, I think. No, I turned. You know what I mean? It wasn't an intersection road. It wasn't straight. It was
Almost like they just peel off.
Maybe it wasn't peel off. Maybe it is. Or it's a road that I went off, and as soon as I went off, there's a curve or like that or something right there.
And this is the road where you got rid of the phone?
No, I threw the phone out on the left side. I went to the left side of the highway and just fired it out the window into the ditch. So I wasn't even in my lane. I remember grabbed the phone, gone, as soon as it rang.
Which way is north here?
I assume. Where did the sun come up in that front of when I was there?
Well, how about this? This is the farm and this is Eganville.
This must be north.
If this is the farm and this is Eganville, is the phone you threw it somewhere between?
Between the farm and that road that I turned on.
Okay.
And this road took me out to Highway 41. In 41, I turned left. Then if I'm not mistaken, if I would have stayed on 41, I would have came to Daker. But I didn't. I turned left, and I went through a and I turned right, and I couldn't believe it when I came something about Dacre, because in my mind, if I just kept going, I'd been in Dacre, and how am I in Dacre now? Like, I remember that sign.
Do you remember what the phone looked like?
What flip phone?
Flip phone? Was it black or gray or colored or?
Colorblind too. Very colorblind. I used to be a pilot, and they wouldn't let me fly given colorblind. I can't. I just want to find the phone. Is that what you want to do?
No, I would like to find the phone if we could. Do you remember what make it was?
I didn't look at the phone. It fell out of the purse. I got the keys. I picked the phone up with the keys. I threw it on the dash. I never touched it, never looked in it till it rang, and I fucking threw it out because. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you any, because I don't know.
No, you've put a great effort in.
There's miles between the farm and this road, like 15, maybe.
Okay.
But I do know I threw it on the left side of the road because I threw it with my left hand because it was. And I'm trying to think of something that I might remember, but I don't remember. This isn't like me driving. Can you fucking understand that? Jesus, this is fucking hard.
Definitely very hard. And that's why I said you're doing a great job.
This wasn't me. Fuck, it was me. Oh, I was going places where I fucking have no idea. And it was like someone was telling me to go here, to go there, to fucking this road, that road, fucking. I never met one cruiser or nothing because the sight of a cruiser panics me. I remember nothing. But no, I'm sort of, someone's telling me I was going around a corner in the highway when it rang, but I don't know. Maybe there was. I wouldn't go by there. You know what a sumac tree is? If you don't,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. No, I don't know. It wasn't in my head. It was like a tape. You can't understand. I tried to tell you, and like a tape playing, and the fucking tape broke when I got to where the fat man was, because everything was as if it was a play. Carl opened the door. Anastasia walked right out the door. I opened the door in the house. I walked up the door, opened it, and Natalie's right there. It was like as if it was supposed to be. It was like, and in my, it was fast. It was not like, if you think about the distance, I don't know what it is, but it's quite a piece from one place to the other, but it was like, more like bang, bang, bang. But there was no bang. I didn't even take a gun at Carl's. I had the gun, not take. And I don't even know if to me, it was I asked a question, and as soon as I asked the question, she lied. And that's what, it's just like lie, bang. Same with Anastasia. I said, why did you lie in court? She said, I didn't, bang. It was, and there was even no sound. And it wasn't like a pop, and it wasn't like that I pulled a trigger. It was fucking, I don't know what the word is. I'm telling you, man, and it's not just that, I know now, or I think, or I can see back, because I never even knew about I'm trying to tell you, but I fucking don't know how. It's like I'm standing here, and I can see myself going to the car. No, see, I'm confusing stuff. Yeah, I was going to the car. Then I went left because that's where the gun was. And I watched it. Then I came back to the car. And that whole part is like me being in the parking lot watching. And then I guess I was in the car.
Okay, Basil, I'm going to step out for a second and just talk with my partner for a minute here, see if there's anything else I need. Why don't you just take a break? Right?
Is there a partner watching all this or something?
Oh yeah, there's somebody watching.
On that?
The black, remember we showed you the black bulbs?
Oh.
I'll be right back, Basil. Okay, Basil.
You know, I don't think I ate in days either, because I've had the diarrhea there today, and it smells like sulfur.
Yeah.
I don't know what's.
I wonder what that means.
I've never.
So listen, we're going to get you over to the courthouse, okay? We got to go.
What time is it?
I think it's about 2:30. 2:30. So if you want to eat your sandwich, and then you can throw your
I'm
shoes.
afraid to eat it because my stomach.
Oh, I see.
They gave me a granola bar or something, and right after my stomach just started. Look at it.
I can hear it gargling again. Well, if you don't feel like you have to eat if you don't want to, alright?
I'm gonna shit my pants. That's what I'm worried about.
Do you want to hit the bathroom here before you go to court? Next door?
I want to tell you about that other. They're talking about the things that. I want to tell you another thing with the police. I was in Ottawa jail. They were taking me to Killaloe in the paddy wagon. I told them that I need to go to the bathroom, and the paddy wagon stopped in Renfrew from Ottawa to Renfrew. I kept telling them, I need to go to the bathroom, I'm going to piss my pants. And I have a problem, I got a hernia, I cannot hold.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we went to Pembroke, I didn't even know. I thought I was hanging on there, so when we get to Pembroke, I'll be able to have a leak. In Pembroke, they leave me in a paddy wagon, and they take somebody else in, and they leave me up there, and I said, I need a piss. They ignored me. Then we go from Pembroke through Run Lake all the way to Killaloe, another hour. And at Killaloe, I'm the only one in the paddy wagon, and I'm telling the guard or whatever, cop or OPP, piss. I'm going to piss my pants. I said, you want me to piss on the floor in the paddy wagon? He said, if you do, you're going to clean it up. There's something wrong with police when and he just ignored me. We're at the paddy wagon. I even told him, I said, just let me out so I can piss in the bush over there. Anything. And then when they took me into a room. And again, I'm telling the guy behind the desk, I need to piss. And everybody just ignored me. So I finally they put me in a room and I'm yelling, if you don't let me go to the bathroom, I'm gonna. Like, man, I asked 30 times. Then they charged me with, not of these, some. They charged me with mischief. Mischief. I begged them. I had no choice. How is that? Is that normal? Is that right?
I don't think so.
Right and wrong? So that's what I'm telling you. No wonder. How can I not see the police as being malicious?
I understand.
That is malicious. I begged. And then when I have no choice, they charge me. And then they told me, and I spit in the guy's face then, because of course, look what you've done to me. Like, what am I supposed to do? How can they put that on me? That's malicious. That is, they forced me. And that, I can go on and on and on. I didn't get here by myself. You fuckers drove me crazy. I begged you to do something. I went to the Pembroke police and I fucking told them that about the wife beating me up. I told the whole thing. But her slapping me in the fucking nothing. I told them about Laura. That asshole cop covered that all up. I don't know how.
You've covered a lot of ground, Basil, and I can understand why you'd be upset with all things we've talked about here.
It's not upset. It's not upset. I never, ever, through all of that, ever thought about anger. It was always, I told people, it's frustration. I'm not angry. I'm frustrated. Nobody's listening. Anger would have been, I would have shot at a cop a long time ago. How many years? 20 years went by? I never had the thought. All my things were about make it right, fix it, help my wife, get the truth to come out. I always believed that someday, maybe, I will be vindicated, even if I only had 3 days of life where I fucking feel like I'm normal. Like, fuck, I never deserved one of these fucking things. Not one. And there's more. It just goes on and on and on and on. And if you look in all of those papers that I have, I've been writing for 20 years about all the things that have happened to me. And all of that's true. If there's something in any of that that's not true, it's because I'm writing about it. And it happened 10 years ago, so maybe I'm not remembering it exactly the way it was. But if you look through all that, I probably wrote about it 10 years ago too. Because like I said, nobody listened, so I took to writing, and there's tape recordings there's tapes, probably 100. We're going back as far as when my kids were 6. My older daughter was only 6 years old, and I took the tape recording, and I would record every conversation practically so that I couldn't be accused. I was even accused of my ex-wife of molesting her stepdaughter. And they ended up going to the children's aid or something. I had to go, and they, the children's aid, told me that we definitely don't believe that you ever molested or touched Candace. So Candace obviously spoke well. So that should have been the first clue that she was lying and I was telling the truth. And should that not have changed? I guess it's garbage now. That doesn't matter.
It'll still work for you.
It won't work on.
No, that'll be all right. There you go. Okay, sir.
So what happens here now?
So we're going to take you over to bail court just here in Pembroke, okay? So it'll just be a short trip, and
You'll
you'll get to go in see the judge. Thank you for talking to me today, sir.
I know I'm not supposed to.
Time now is approximately 2:40 p.m., 23rd September 2015. I'm turning off the audio recorder as the interview with Basil is concluded.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and press the notification bell. Additionally, you can view our playlists and most recent videos. Thank you for watching.